Welcome everyone. My name is Neena and I'm going to present our Tom's Credible is an integrated communication consultant. We are currently working with early stage consumer internet startups to global technology and venture capital companies which are headquartered in Middle East, Europe and US. We would like to tell our audience that will be a
I think there is a network issue.
hi. So
There
I
was a
think there
network
is a
issue.
lag. Yeah. Now I would like to give a little introduction about our guest, Faizan Haidar. He's a senior business journalist at Economic Times. He covers infrastructure and real estate. He had a long stint with Hindustan Times, almost 9 years. He has transitioned smoothly from writing for so now it's been 2 years in EP. So welcome Faizan to our show.
Hi, Nina. Thank you. I think there is some network issue from your side.
Hi Faizan. Yeah. So yeah. So, so tell us about your journey so far.
In journalism, yeah. So, I started about 15 years ago as a Gurgaon correspondent where I used to write on municipality issues, crime, health, education, everything about the city. At that time, Gurgaon was not that big. Now, though, it has become a millennium city, they call it. But yeah, at that time, going to Gurgaon was itself a challenge because there was no metro, no bus. So I used to live in North Delhi. From going to Gurgaon from North Delhi was a task, which used to take me 2.5 hours to reach there by bus. So yeah, I used to start my day at 7 a.m., reach there, meet people, come back again, file stories. It was a different challenge at that time. Now the challenges are different. I think we have lost Neil again.
Yeah, hi Faizan.
Hi. Network issue from your side, no?
Yeah, I think so. There's some.
I have told about my journey initially.
Okay, okay. And but you used to cover aviation before. So how has been your journey from being a journalist who used to cover aviation, and now you cover real estate? So
Yes, yes,
how
that's
has
correct.
been the shift?
Uh, I was covering aviation for like 9, 10 years, and I was very comfortable with it. I don't have to really go and meet every day my sources and contact, and I, it was very comfortable. So I thought I should try something different, something which I have never done before. I had done almost all the possible beats for the mainstream newspaper: crime, health, government, politics, election. You name it, I have covered almost everything. So then comes the opportunity for a business newspaper. So I thought, yeah, let's do this. Let's see how that works. And so far, it has been so good for me. I don't miss aviation. You should not miss a beat. The basic remains the same everywhere. You have to go and find out stories and file for it. file it for the paper.
One, you know, another question that asks is, how do you do you think that for a new age media, what are the skill set which is required to compete in this field?
See, new age or old age, the basic remains the same. A journalist has to go out or digitally ask the right question. You should ensure that you are asking the right question to get the story. I mean, I will give you an example. I used to cover crime at that point of time. So there was a case of a rape at one of the area of Delhi, and I called the district commissioner of police, and I asked him, "Sir, if there is a rape, can you give me details?" He simply denied, said, "No, there is no rape." So I could not do anything. About 10 minutes later, I called him again. Sir, is there any sexual assault? He said, yes, there was a case of sodomy. So it was not a rape. I mean, technically, it was not a rape. For him, it was a case of sodomy, so he simply denied. So it's very important to ask the right question, right? Use the right words if you want the officer or the concerned person to reply to you honestly. So all the minor details matter.
Okay.
It's same with the new age media also. I mean, here also, I mean, no matter what form of the media you are in, ultimately you get your stories through your questions only. The way you frame
Okay.
it, the way you ask it.
So, how do you think because you've been covering like 15 years of journalism, and what has how has the media evolved? So, you can share your give some more example on that aspect.
I think the penetration of digital has obviously increased. I mean, when we started, there was no Twitter, no Facebook, nothing. I mean, no one used to record videos. There was no CCTV coverage around the city. So, I mean, we started around 2005, I think, yes. So, at that time, I mean, if the story is breaking at 2 p.m., so we can go collect details aram say and then come to the office and file it. I mean, there was no hurry. Now, if the story is breaking at 2 p.m., we have to keep the story ready by 2:30 with all the details, ensuring that there is no factual error in it. So that's the challenge. You have to tweet it also, and you have to ensure that you're not tweeting the wrong information just because you want to be the first one to tweet. You cannot tweet the wrong information. You have that responsibility on you. So that's how it has changed. I mean, the pressure has obviously increased to be the first and to be accurate also. Uh, it's the pressure of social media only. I mean, people also question you that why have you done this? Why have you written this? Earlier, this used to happen through letter to editor or any other medium, but now you are directly interacting with your readers. They can obviously question you through Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, wherever you post your stories. So that's how it has changed. I mean, the challenges have increased over the period of time.
Okay. So, the next question will be what do you want to say to a budding journalist, like someone who wants to become a journalist? Uh, in general, what they should be, how they can work on their skill set.
Firstly, they should not chase the glamour. A lot of the students I meet, the first thing they say they want to be a TV anchor. The only thing they want to be. So I mean, journalism is not just about coming on TV and doing a show. I mean, the people like us, we do hardcore ground reporting. We go on field. I mean, spend time there. Sometimes we spend about a week and 10 days on a single story. So, I mean, you have to put in the hard work before you think of the glamour. I mean, you might want to meet a celebrity, a cricketer, or anyone you like. But the important thing is, even if you are interviewing your favorite person, you should ask the right question to them. I mean, you should not get impacted by the celebrity. I mean, you have to maintain. I mean, journalism was all about meeting people and asking the question. So, if you are coming to journalism, basic have to be followed, and glamour will obviously come at some point of time.
Okay. We have a question which is coming. Someone is asking you, you moved to real estate because you wanted to learn something new. How important think it is, it can help you keep learning? How it is important for you to keep learning?
I think for any profession you name it, I mean, it is important to keep learning, keep exploring new things. So, I mean, I will not say that I knew everything about aviation, but for covering it for a long period, so you get that comfort that now you know how it works. So, real estate was completely new, and that too for a business newspaper. I'll give you an example. A private developer was developing a commercial building in Chandni Chowk. So for a normal newspaper, political newspaper, the story would be Chandni Chowk, how it will be redeveloped and all. But for a business newspaper, the story is how the builder will get the funding for the project. So I was not aware that this will be the angle for that story. So that's how I learned while doing the beat that the financial aspect of a project is more important than the what the project is actually going to be. So that's how you keep meeting people, keep learning, and the more you meet new people, the more you learn. And through real estate also, you can help a lot of home buyers who are stuck in delayed projects. You can write about them. You can write about their company who are into insolvency, who are not completing the project. So, I mean, no matter what beat you are covering, you can always help someone through your work. Yes, a story that moves me. Okay, I think Nina is here.
Really sorry, yeah, really sorry about the lag. Hmm.
So I talked about the real estate thing, how what I learned, and how it is important to learn new things.
Yeah. So, it is said that, journalists are a privileged lot. Is it
Please,
so? Yeah. If you
no,
can
no, no, I
share
don't
your
think
views.
so. I mean, I think people say
Do
that
you think we
because
are
they see us
privileged lot?
interacting with the politician, with the ministers, with the celebrities. So they think we are privileged. But this is the job. I mean, you have to meet the important people of the industry of the country. But this doesn't mean that we are privileged. I mean, we are there to ask them questions. I mean, we don't misuse it for anything. I mean, it's at some point of time we also get close to them. We become friends with the police, with the politician, with the ministers. I have many friends in police, but ultimately you have to do your job also. So, which is again go and find the facts and report about it.
There's a question coming from Aman. You wanted to work for Hindi News Daily when you started your career. So, how challenging was your journey to master a language which is not your first choice?
No, it was not true. I mean, you when you came out of the journalism school, you wanted to get a job. That's it, wherever you get it. So at that at that point of time, it was important to get a job. So that was my first priority, whether to get in a TV, in a Hindi newspaper, in English newspaper, wherever you can get it. I think my first opportunity was Hindi news channel only, regional news channel. So again, language matters at some point of time, but mostly it's your communication skill, how confident you are in building a network. So reporting is all about networking. I mean, it can happen through English, through Hindi, through regional language, or anything. So when you go and meet someone, you have to ensure that they are comfortable with you. They are comfortable in sharing information with you. So that's how you do your job. So that's the thing I have adopted throughout my life. I don't go out and meet people to get story. I just go out to meet and have a tea with them. Ultimately, the story comes out. If you sit with someone, you will get a story while talking normally. I mean, you don't have to ask a specific question to them. They will obviously talk about it, and the first thing you should not do is just ask them, sir, what is the story, or where can I get details of it. Just make them comfortable through your behavior, through your question, and then they will ultimately, when they get comfortable, they will talk to you. Every person I meet is a nice human being. They usually talk.
Okay. I would again request all the audience to please share their questions to Faizan. I have another question for you.
Hmm.
What are you expecting? This is one of the questions that we always ask to all our guests. So, what are your
Mhm.
expectations from a communication professional? Because they will be reaching out to you for their own stories. So,
Yes, yes.
if you
I mean,
can
the
give us
only
some.
expectation of a journalist is always looking for a story. I mean, he will never say no to a good story. So ensure that you are pitching the right story to the right person. I mean, I speak to at least 10, 12 different communication professional every day, and sometime I get a story idea, sometime I don't get. So uh, a lot of them pitch it wrongly. A lot of them, I mean, if you see, sometimes if you see a press release, sometimes the most important point is at the bottom of the press release. So communication professional should know that what kind of stories. I mean, if you read the newspaper, you'll get to know what kind of stories get published. So you have to take that angle to get the story published. I mean, we as a journalist also follow the same principle. Your most important point have to be in the first para.
Correct. You want to share some examples, few
Example
examples
of.
on example how to reach you, or like what will be the approach? Like, some people approach you through email or WhatsApp. Look, so what are the mediums that a
No,
person should
I'm available through every
approach?
medium, email, WhatsApp, mobile. So that's not an issue, but approach it for the right reason. I mean, with the right pitch. For instance, if I'm covering real estate, so if I call a minister or a officer of railway ministry, suppose asking them about a real estate project, so they will feel odd. So if I'm approaching them for a story. So like if a communication professional is approaching me for a story, it should be related to real estate. It should not be from any other sector. You should know who is handling what. That is the most important thing. I
Okay. So, for example, real estate question. In terms of your speed question, saying, so how often you get in a situation where you do not understand how to follow few things, like uh, they might they might give you a wrong pitch. So,
So
like, how
yes, so
sometimes you'll be having certain issues in that. So how do you address those?
So basic thing of the journalism is to always cross check. If someone is pitching you, there will always be someone else who will counter that, or whatever is happening in real estate or any other bit. Always there are two three different agencies involved with it. I'll give you an example of aviation. So suppose a passenger of a particular flight fell ill during the flight and died. So it will not only be the airline who will have information. There will be police. There will be airport security agency. There will be airport staff will be aware of it. So you have to cross check from them what exactly happened. Airline might give some say something different, and police might say something different. So whatever information you get, you have to cross check with three four different people who are directly aware of the particular thing. I'll give you another example. The biggest story of my life, where former President Dr. Abdul Kalam was frisked at the airport. So that story created a lot of uproar and in the parliament also. So I got an input from a airport staff saying that this has happened. Now I can't report that just someone is saying that this has happened. I have to cross check with first airport is security is responsibility of CISF. So I cross checked with them. They said yes, this has happened, but I can't. We can't reveal more. Then comes the airline. Airline will obviously say no, but you have to you have to ensure that you contact them even if they are denying it. Then comes airport staff. Also, there's agencies who handle securities for airlines. So when 3 4% are saying the same thing, then there has to be some credibility in it. So once I cross checked with three four different people, then only despite not having any confirmation from any official, I went ahead with the story because I had confirmation from three four different person. Obviously, then you will ask the person involved. I had to ask the secretary of Mr. Kalam, who obviously said they do not want to comment on the matter. But that's how you go about a story. You contact every person concerned with it. You cannot publish a story where next day the someone comes and that you have not taken my response. So, so even in real estate, if they are if the local government has issued penalty, few days again it happened. The authority issued a penalty against 10 builders. So I have to contact those 10 builders to confirm that yes, we have received the notices. No matter wherever it is coming from, you have to cross check the information you get.
Okay, that's a very interesting way of doing the stories and what goes behind the scene.
What? Ah,
Yeah, a lot of things goes behind making one story.
yes, lot of.
So,
I mean,
another, Hmm, please
now that
continue.
you have mentioned it, I think maximum I have spent 10 days on a story. It was about, and I was grateful that change happened after that. It was about constable of CISF. CISF manages security at Delhi Metro and airport and other installation. So the constable constable got a operation conductor for sex change, and he was not accepted by his seniors because he had joined CISF as a female, which and the criteria for a female is different from a male, and he got result changed to a male. So then he was unable to get an appointment letter for fresh appointment letter considering him as a male staff for CISF. Though he had converted, but he was still considered as a female staff. So there was a different criteria for male. I mean, you have to do the trainings are different. So, but after my story, he was finally accepted as a male constable with the CISF, and I had to go and meet him, convince him that I will not reveal the details, his personal details in the newspaper. Still, I managed to convey the story, and the CISF bosses had to accept it, and the next day after the story, they admitted that we are at fault, and they after following all the process, they gave him the official male constable wala tag.
Another, aspect that, when we cover a story, like as a journalist, you have to deal with so many people for a story. But, at the same time, what do you think is more important to excel in the field? Like, the coming to back to the same question where, you know, do you have to master in one specific beat, or like you have to focus on multiple skill set or maybe a beat specific. Like, so, like when there was a saying like, master of at least one,
One
at
and
least
jack.
uh, jack of all trades and master of
In
one.
this age, I don't think you can stick to just one beat or one thing. I mean, you have to know all the things. So if I am a print journalist, I can't say that I can't do a video or I can't work for TV. Or even for a beat, like I have changed so many beats. I mean, you get comfortable after 4 or 5 years. I mean, you know all the context, you know how to get stories. So to reinvent yourself, you have to change the beat also. Uh, you have to meet new set of people and start fresh. So that's how journalism keep exciting you. I mean, you also go there out in the field more often and meet different people on the beat. So I think you should know everything. You should, as I said earlier, also no matter what you do, the basic remain the same. You have to ask the right question. So you are covering aviation, crime, politics, business, anything. Ultimately, your job is to ask question and file a story basis on that. So if you know how to ask the question, you are a good journalist and you can be master of everything.
That's true. So I have another question where there are a lot of journalists who are reluctant to join communication industry, and a lot of journalists have moved to this part of the world as well. So,
Yes.
what do you think about that? Like, why there is a reluctance?
I mean, I don't think I personally know anyone who wanted to join or who is reluctant. It's a personal choice of someone. If they are, I mean, you should enjoy your job, what you are doing. If you are not enjoying, there's no point doing the job. So I don't think I have much to say on this, but it's a personal choice, right? And I think it varies. You can't generalize it. It varies from person to person.
We have a question coming from our team.
Okay.
Sucha is asking, we have known and seen you as a very hardworking reporter. Remember your beginning as a crime correspondent, and today you're doing something completely different from that. So, how has the journey of these two extremes been?
So if you compare, yes, obviously these are extreme. In crime reporting, I mean, most of the time we used to spend either at a police station or at a hospital, at an accident site. So I mean, there was no respite. I mean, suppose at 1 p.m. there was a murder and you are talking to a family. 2 hours there was another road accident. You have to go there. So you have to move from one spot to another spot to another, and then come back and file about 8, 10 different crime stories. And daily, there are different types of crime happen every day. So from doing that to even for that time when I moved to aviation, that was also different from crime. I mean, that was I mean more about talking about the facility at the airport, what are the loopholes are. So, but I think if you have covered crime once in your life, you can cover anything. You can write on anything because you get to meet so many different aspects of life. You get to know. I mean, because crime happens with everyone. It is not limited to one person. It can happen to the richest and it can happen to the poorest. And in both the cases, you have to go and meet them. You have to get their perspective as well. And again, you get the confidence. I think the kind of confidence you get while covering crime, you didn't get any kind of confidence in other beats. I have covered almost all the beats. So I mean the job of I mean not everyone can see a dead body, but you get used to it. Then you get used to standing in the mortuary and you go to court also. I mean all the things which your parents say that you should not go to police station, go to hospital. You go there as a crime reporter and you go there every day. So I think for experience, everyone should start as a crime reporter, go to sport and then whatever can do whatever he wants to, be a lifestyle journalist or be a sports journalist, whatever he or she wants to be.
Correct. Uh, Recently, we conducted one, while we were doing this, talk about the credible talks about this topic, where what do you think is more important on the question of jack of all trades and master of at least one,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where we conducted this one. So we got almost like on multiple aspect. It was like 81% responded said yes, and master
So
of
just
one
to
beat
master of one or jack of all?
no, master of one beat got 19% of
That's a
response.
19%.
Yeah. And on multiple aspect was 81%.
So jack of all, I mean, if you once you spend considerable time in the industry, you automatically get to know most of the things. I mean, uh, some people stick to one beat, but most of them, I think, they change their beat. So
Correct.
even if you don't change the beat in the newsroom, you know what your colleagues are doing. So through them, you learn. So, so obviously, I have covered aviation for the longest period of time. So you can call me master of aviation. But if you want me to be a master of real estate, I can be, because I have covered that for 2 years, and I know most of the things now. For crime also, I can say the same thing. So it doesn't take much to become master. I mean, you should know almost everything, every aspect of journalism, but I think you can be master of, yes, you can be master of everything also.
Thank you, Faizan. I don't have any more questions right now. In case we get more questions on the comment box, please do respond to that. And thank you for for coming to our show. It was like
Thank
an
you, thank you,
absolute
thank you for
pleasure talking
inviting
to
me.
you after a long time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
So hope you like the discussion and the thing that we are doing. We're trying to have more people on this show so that we understand what are the challenges a journalist is going through, and also from your perspective, we also get to understand
Maybe you can
that
invite
how
students from
a
some college or
story there is a journey to a story. So how it goes through the entire process. So I hope our viewers and listeners so thanks, and please do share. This is for all our audience. Please share your feedback, and it will able to improve more. Thank you, Fazan.
thank you, thank you. Bye bye.